This video is going to be a list of 10 adventure film recommendations, but also why I created this. I like to listen to a podcast called The Weekly Planet. It's two Australian blokes who like to shoot the shit about movies and comics and TV shows. You know, they have a lot of good sense of humor. And one of them mentioned that, people don't like adventure films anymore. There's people love The Mummy 1999 and then anything else after sucks. And I was like, that's impossible. So I wanted to find 10 adventure films post The Mummy 1999 that are good, and also see if the adventure film is on the decline. So the first one I picked up was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. This one was a bit of a bomb, but it's a fun adventure movie about a bard and his warrior buddy, and they are going to do a heist. So it's like a fun, gather some people. They grab a rookie wizard guy, and there's lots of fun segments in there, like a giant fat dragon. There's some really nice stunts and fight scenes. It's from the duo of filmmakers who did Game Night, so they did a really good job of making this really fun. There's lots of hard-hitting action sequences. There's a great magical duel at the end. This one was a perfect mix of action and like comedy and fantasy. Character development was still there. Even good emotional moments. So this one was a really good recommendation. Didn't do well in theaters though. The next one is The Extraordinary Adventures of Adèle St. Blanc. This is a 2010 fantasy comedy filmed by Luc Besson. I think it's based off a comic, like a really old French comic. They do a lot of adaptations, like Luc Besson also did Valerian. So Adèle St. Blanc is about a woman. She's trying to find a cure for her sister's paralysis. And the opening, she's in Egypt, and she's being attacked by a fellow, kind of like Indiana Jones, where she's being attacked by a rival, and she managed to escape some booby traps. But she's basically trying to find a secret Egyptian cure for her sister's paralysis. There's lots of crazy adventure, and there's like a dinosaur that comes back to life. So lots of fantasy parts. The CGI isn't too amazing, but the very zany, fun adventure. I kind of wanted a sequel, but it never got made. But this one was another bomb. Stardust. This one was a box office hit. This is Matthew Vaughn, director of many solid films. Usually does kind of violent action thrillers like Layer Cake or Kingsman. But Stardust was a nice, lighter adventure story that had some dark moments. But overall, this is based off of based off of a short story and by Neil Gaiman. Ugh. But anyways, it's still a good movie, This is about a young man who finds a star who fell to the land, and then he manages to capture her with a necklace or something. I don't remember, to be honest. I haven't seen this movie in over 20 years. But he basically wants to use her as a gift for his crush, and along the way they get into all sorts of adventures, like Captain Shakespeare and his flying ship, and there's some princes, I believe, and they all have a succession battle because they're all trying to kill each other, and then they run afoul of a vicious witch who would like to absorb the star for her own. And the movie, I think I've read both. I've read the story or the novella or whatever with the pictures, and the movie. The movie's really good. It's really fun. Great cast, definitely a high in the vein of The Princess Bride, but done after The Mummy. The Eagle is a lesser-known adventure action film. This one is Channing Tatum and Jamie Bell. It's based off of I think it's a book maybe called the Lost of the Ninth Legion or something, and it's about a Roman soldier who wants to find that thing, and he's got a slave. Because Romans are really into slaves, and then it's almost like a buddy kind of movie, because they go out into the adventure, and they basically go out and they have to infiltrate not wildling, but they call them the barbarians, because anyone who's not part of Rome is a barbarian. But basically they have to go undercover, infiltrate, and Jamie Bell's the slave. He pretends that the Romans captured so they can infiltrate, and they have to steal back this symbol of Rome. It's like a giant iron eagle or something. There's a great battle scene at the end. Very I forget the director who did this, but he usually does like political thrillers and stuff. So this one was really different vibe. It bombed, but really well done. Really good acting and a little bit, some good action. Some cool adventure moments, like exploring the wild and like, you know, very gritty because it's like all gross and, you know, Roman times. So this one's a good one. Pirates of the Caribbean. At one time, Pirates of the Caribbean was my favorite movie. It is honestly probably the perfect action adventure story. It's got a little bit of fantasy in there. It's got sword fights. It's got that old school vibe. You know, if you watch this movie back to back with like a Errol Flynn movie, the same kind of vibe. Gore Verbinski did a great job just with the first movie. But we're following Captain Jack Sparrow. He's trying to get his ship back, and then he runs afoul of Barbossa and the ghostly pirates there. They kidnap a woman who Will Turner likes because they have history with his father, and they're trying to break the curse of some stolen Aztec gold that turns them into like the undead. Not the undead, but they're like ghosts basically. They can't feel. They have to return all the gold, so they've been on like a violent rampage trying to get back all the gold pieces. And of course Will teams up with Jack Sparrow in order to stop them and get the girl back. However, there's lots of great humor, sword fights, class. It like pushes the bar for PG-13. There's some violence in this that's off screen that's really well done, but the first movie was definitely the best out of all of them because it was grounded just enough, a little bit of fantasy elements. The second movie got kind of crazy with the whole, you know, monsters and stuff and undersea people, and then they just get more wild after that. But the first movie is a classic. It's a pitch perfect action adventure film, definitely amazing. This one's a little bit more intense. Apocalypto, this one was a hit like Pirates, but Apocalypto is directed by Mel Gibson. He did a movie all based in the same sort of language. It's about I think his name's Jaguar Paw or something. He basically is kidnapped, and so is his tribe. They're attacked by another larger tribe of kidnappers that enslave other tribes to sacrifice to their god. So he escapes, and he's got to find a way back to rescue his family. And there's lots of humans hunting humans for sport. That's how he's able to escape, because they're messing with him, and he manages to escape. And then it becomes a big chase in the jungle. There's some booby traps and like vicious warfare. It's a really old school kind of gritty aesthetic because, you know, it feels like so alien. It's part of a different time period and stuff, and it's just like really different and unique and violent, super violent. One of the most violent movies ever, but definitely like an experience. Like, it's no wonder people like this movie. This is 2007, so Apocalypto was pretty good. The next one is Kon-Tiki. This is a lesser known one. It's about Thor Heyerdahl trying to recreate the same voyage on a raft. So he builds a raft, gets a crew, and they're going to sail to Papua New Guinea, I believe, and they're going to just like do it the old-fashioned way, but it's a real adventure film because it's, you know, braving the elements. There's no antagonist except for nature. There's, you know, dying of thirst and like trying to get food and dealing with animals and storms and all this crazy stuff. It definitely feels really unique, and like it's all like man versus nature. So it's really good, and really like this one. I saw this one with a friend, dragged him to it, but it was really, really well done. Master and Commander is a very famous one. This is the like 3-hour Russell Crowe movie. Roger Ebert loved it, gave it 4 stars. I remember watching this with my parents. This is a really old school adventure story. It's directed by Peter Weir, and it's got a great cast, Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany, and it's basically about, it's based off a series of books, I believe, and it's about Russell Crowe's the captain of a ship, and he's trying to hunt down this French vessel or something, his nemesis on the high seas, and there's all sorts of brutal sort of just, I think there was an amputation scene that was really like stomach churning, but it was really old school in that sense. I mean, ship battles, people just throwing sabers into each other's faces, using flintlock pistols on each other, storms and like starvation and like tactics. It's all really like, I think the full title is Master and Commander of the Far Side of the World. So it was based off that novel. Maybe it's based off 2 novels and there's more, but this one is really old school action. It's, you know, 2000, I want to say 2005 or something around that time period, 2004. And honestly, I think, you know, right after The Mummy, there's a whole bunch of action-adventure stories. I'm thinking of a whole bunch more as I'm making this list, too, which is crazy. But, yeah, Master Commander's really good. I got the Super Edition from the thrift shop. I'm going to rewatch it. They got a lot of special features on there, so that's one I'd like to revisit for sure. This one was a bomb, I think. The Adventures of Tintin is another one that's pretty good. This is rotoscoped animation, I believe. Steven Spielberg did this one. This one was a hit, I believe. They should have made more of these. This one was really fun. That chase scene was really crazy with the motorcycle. But this is based off of Hergé, you know, comics, and they made an animated series, which I grew up with. And this movie was pretty good. It's like a really old school adventure, you know, bumbling detectives, looking for treasure, you know, fights and guns and stuff, all sorts of rip-roaring stuff. They definitely should have made a sequel to this one. I think it was a hit, so like it's kind of weird that they didn't. So there's that. All right, the last one of this list is Solomon Kane. Solomon Kane is a lesser-known character. He's from the creator of Conan the Barbarian. So Solomon Kane, I don't remember the movie, to be honest. I remember it had cool monsters and shit. But basically, he's like a priest or something, or like he's like a pilgrim or something. He's like a kind of like Conan, but he's like different. He's not like a sword guy. He's more of a magic user, I think, maybe. And in this one, he's got to fight like a demon or something. And it's really old school, lots of fantasy elements. It bombed. Lesser known. I think it was on Netflix for a while. I watched this one. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. He's got like a deal with the devil or something. Yeah, there's something going on. I don't remember too much of this one, but it was good. This one was another bomb. And the reason why I wanted to talk about these hits and bombs, I wanted to see how many were hits and bombs. And honestly, yes, out of these 10, only 3 of them did well. Pirates, Tintin, and Apocalypto. So out of, you know, 3 out of 10 is pretty bad. The rest of them were bombs. So like whenever you make a large budget action adventure story and it doesn't do well, I mean, yeah, obviously it sort of pushes you into a corner to not make as many. But I thought of a couple more. I wasn't sure if some of them should count or not, but I had April in the Extraordinary World. This is like a French animated film. I didn't count it because it's like animated, but it still has that sense of wonder. There's also cool inventions and gadgets and globe-trotting and danger still, even though it's an animated film. Another one is the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven. This one was really good. It's another bomb. Ridley Scott did this one. It's got lots of big battles, Saladin, and like the Crusades and all the gross battles and stuff. And this one was really like siege towers. It's more action period piece than it is adventure. Like there's no sense of like going somewhere else, but like I would still count it as an almost action adventure because it's like a different time period. And what was the other one? Oh yeah, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. It's more of an action movie, but it does have globetrotting. You know, they go to Saudi Arabia and they go to Russia, so there's some globetrotting elements, and you could also consider the James Bond movies to be adventure, but not really. I don't find them to be. I find them to be action, but it is. I guess it is seem to be a sort of dying genre. You know, most places, movies just decide to just skip the adventure. You know, do action because like, you know, places don't feel unique and cool anymore because of, you know, travel people. You know, if you can go on YouTube right now and watch a guy eating bat or something from some weird little village, and or you could, like, you know, it's no longer you have to go to the movies to witness adventure. You can just go online and find someone who filmed it or find a travel documentary or something. And so like, for example, something like Tomb Raider, which I really liked, that they go to China and Asia and different places to find the tomb. It doesn't feel like cool or adventurous. It just feels kind of like, they're there. So those are the 10 films I recommend that are adventure post The Mummy 1999. I didn't include the sequel.